All right, I do get the feeling this might be everybody, so shall we start then? Cool. All right, so everybody, welcome to the Q2 Radworks community call. You all know me, but just in case anybody is watching this on YouTube, I am Becca. I work mainly with Drips, but have worked with all of the orgs here, look after events and marketing. Today I'm going to be hosting the call. I think, again, we all know what the purpose of this is. It's just to give everybody an update on what all the orgs have been working on for Q2. And each of the leads will give a quick update. I would say normally it'll be no more than 15 minutes, but I think this is going to be quite a quick one today. And you can ask questions at the end of the presentations of each person, and then there'll be opportunity for just kind of like general questions at the end. I think it's quite self-explanatory. Is everybody happy with that? Wonderful. Okay, so I think we will start with Drips first. I assume, Ellie, that's you?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Cool, right. I
Hey,
will
everyone.
start presenting and
Okay.
off we go.
Cool. Give me a second. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Can you see my screen okay? Or should I zoom in? Zooming in. Taking the initiative. Okay. Cool. So hi everyone. It's good to see you all. This is the update from the Drips org. As always, we publishing an update as well on our website, on our blog, so you can go read that there. That's the first link in this blog post in the forum. And then additionally, we also setting a 1-minute video that has a more visual take on this exact same thing. It's a shorter summary, so you can also go watch that one if you're interested in that. But yeah, what are the highlights from Q2? The main thing we've actually done was to work on supporting retroactive public goods funding. So this is a specific mechanism that a number of communities within the cryptocurrency space use in order to reward contributors within their ecosystem retroactively. So the way this works in a high level basis that a bunch of people come together and effectively vote on different contributions to an ecosystem. So how does this fit with Drips? Well, we decided that this is a nice and simple mechanism that we also want to support within the Drips application. So, what we worked on in Q2 is end-to-end support from basically, nomination to voting to automatic payouts, and of course to, the Drips graph. So all of that comes together in one experience. We are quite excited for that. We also have a large partnership in the works with regards to this feature that we will announce when we're ready. So that was the most important product release we had for Q2. In addition, we spoke to a lot of different events. Team members of ours spoke at Protocol Berg in Berlin, Funding the Commons, Rad New World, DAppCon, Web3 Privacy Now Hackathon, and DeSci Berlin. So we've been very active with regards to public speaking and bringing awareness with regards to Drips. We also launched a small guide to Berlin, as there were many events happening in Berlin. So we decided to, have a little microsite where we're recommending a bunch of different places around Berlin. Just side note on that. So these were the three main things we've done from the product to marketing. Additionally, we worked on a number of things that are not fully done yet. So I'm moving to the looking ahead section of my blog post. So what's coming in Q3 for us? The first thing that is coming is the first version of what we call Drips AI. So this is powered by an internal service called Gardener, which what it does, it is that it provides algorithmic recommendations for dependencies and weights that when you claim your repo within Drips, if you want to redistribute some capital that you might be receiving from some of your donors, then you have a number of recommendations, so you don't need to put too much thinking into that if this is not something that you want to do. And then there's a service that is recommending you potential dependencies of yours and their relative importance. So this is all AI assisted. This isn't, a machine deciding for you. It's all assisting you in your decision-making process. So we've done a lot of work. Warren, that's actually in the call, has been leading that effort. We've been putting a lot of work into that, and this will go live in Q3 for us. The second thing that we've been working on behind the scenes is expanding our distribution methods. As you know, with Trips right now, you can fund any GitHub repo, you can fund any Ethereum address, and you can fund any NS name. We're planning on expanding to OrcID for scientists, to Hugging Face repositories, and then we're also looking at a number of additional identities that are code related. No Radicle yet, but yeah, when I know Fintan is disappointed, but soon that will come. We have committed to do this in Q4, just for context. Yeah, soon. Our commitments for Q4 for that one. So the last thing I would like to say is that we also have a partnership with the Ethereum Foundation that is in the making. I believe that I mentioned this in one of the previous calls, but the Ethereum Foundation has decided to fund some of their critical dependencies with regards to DEF CON. This is the biggest event that they organizing. And then additionally, we've been working on a feature that we call ecosystems that is designed to support an initiative that the Ethereum Foundation has been leading that's called deep funding. It's another type of dependency funding solution with algorithmic assistance. So we've been working on that for a while. This is something that we will also be announcing soon. And with regards to the ecosystem, there's been a lot of product development. Morgan, that's on the call, has been contributing to that. Yanis, Jason, a lot of folks. But yeah, this is another thing that will go live in Q3. And then with regards to timeline and budget, we basically we will be on track at the end of the year. There's always seasonality on our spending. Q2 is always higher than Q3, but we will be on track by the end of the year. And that's it. Any questions? No? Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And
passing
now,
the ball to Becca. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for that. And then we'll go to Fintan.
Hello. Share my screen. Does this look okay for everybody?
Do you want to just zoom in a little bit more?
Sure.
There we go. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, so in the general announcements, we've gladly been hitting a bit more of a release cadence. So we released 1.2, and then following that up with 1.2.1 with some nice changes. And we're currently working on a pre-release for 1.3. And we're trying to continue to improve this process by having a shared single signing key that the maintainers can use, and also introduction of canonical references, which means that we can get tags up at the canonical namespace of repositories, which segues perfectly into my next point, that as part of 1.3, all going well, technically we've already found a small little issue that Lawrence is jumping on, but we should have canonical references as part of the release and bundled in the 1.3 release. It took a while, but I think it was worth the wait, and we've learned a lot from the experience of trying to evolve things in the protocol, and canonical references under the hood posed a lot of problems in that area, and we will continue to learn. We've also been making some great efforts. Eric and Lawrence have been working on using NixOS to declare and deploy our infrastructure. which makes our lives a lot easier. Thanks to like declarative approach for deploying things is amazing, and then NixOS also gives you like easy rollbacks because immutability. And then Lawrence has also been making a huge effort on deploying IPv6 and onion addresses to the seed nodes that are deployed, and other nice things like that, like more consistent naming. They're both using the radicle.xyz domain now. And over these past 2 releases, we've seen a lot of contributors, which has been amazing to see. Not only the maintainers, but also people on the garden team and also outside contributors that have been interested in Radicle and have been interested enough to actually create patches for us to either review or take over, which is amazing to see, and we want to keep that up. So, as I've always said, contributions welcome. On budget, I actually am not entirely sure. Maybe Sally can fill in here, but I believe we're on track. And as a bonus, we cut some costs by getting rid of Vercel and are using a free tier of Cloudflare to deploy our static website. Another great contribution from Lawrence. For the quarterly objective updates, I was looking back on the previous post, and we were so excited to announce that we'd try and focus on identity management and node management. But the reality of software is that sometimes you don't get to work on the things that you want to work on. So we ended up focusing a lot on improving the current experience of using Radicle. One of these is the synchronizing with the network. There was a lot of complaints about this experience and errors and yada yada. And thankfully, there has been a noticeable decrease in the complaints around this experience after tweaking some improvements and refactoring the code to make it more easy to reason about. So what we're trying to do within the next quarter is to take these kind of learnings. This is kind of like a bedrock or like a playground to test these kind of techniques. And we're trying to bring that over to the protocol as well, because we noticed that it was hard to make some what you would think were basic changes to the protocol. And we were having a hard time doing that while doing it in a way that is backwards compatible, which is something that we try and strive for as much as possible. So we're moving forward in sans-IO fashion, which the basic concept is separating out your like protocol logic away from anything that's IO based, networking, database access, yada yada. Not only will this make it easier for us to test the protocol, it'll make it more extensible and hopefully allow us to evolve it in a more clear and safer fashion. And on top of this, it could have the potential to open the windows. What I mean is we might be able to write something that takes the sans-IO architecture, plugs in Rust code that works on Windows, and suddenly we'll have a Radicle node that can run on Windows. We've already made some changes so that the RAD CLI now runs on Windows. Once again, thank you, Lawrence. Yeah, so those are the kind of like roadmap updates for us. but we don't want to like stop thinking about identity and multi-device. We're still constantly discussing these things and coming up with ideas. So hopefully we'll be able to get those together as well. We've talked in passing about hiring, so maybe we need to be more serious about trying to think about getting another protocol developer, which would greatly help developing more of these things. Upcoming, other than the roadmap, someone reached out to us to apply for Ubuntu Summit, which is in London. So we're thinking about writing an abstract for that, and I'll probably pop over to give a talk there. And we're looking forward to an offsite in Finland, perhaps, in September alongside the garden team, where we can have fun and plan. And that is all. Any questions? Excellent.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much, Fintan, for the updates. And now let's go to Radworks product team, Johannes.
Cool. Thank you. Really exciting stuff. Let me get started. As always, I like to basically start from what I promised would come next, and then compare that what we actually did. Similar to what Fintan said, it's not always like 100% accurate, but I think that's time we did a fairly good job. In our on-site in April, and we discussed what would be the most important and most impactful thing that we could do to drive Radicle and the managed offering forward. And that was mainly around like talking more about Radicle, writing more about Radicle, and sharing some of the insights that we have ourselves, the way we are using it, the way we think others should use it, and giving a bit more insights without people having to actually try it. I will talk about that in a moment, but yeah, we've done more talking, we've done more writing, and that's definitely something that we've successfully done. We have announced a paid offering in our last community event. We had hoped to have like a landing page up by now, but because there are a couple of open questions, we're a bit behind on that. We have definitely spent a lot of time iterating on desktop. We are behind on the brand update, which we wanted to have done by now, and we wanted to be further, as a result, blocked by the brand update with the updated brand offering. All in all, not perfect, but I think the prediction was pretty accurate in terms of what would be important. So summarizing the last quarter, the highlights. The highlight, first of all, has been the public release of Radicle Desktop. In the last post, I already talked. That was like 10th of April. I already talked about like a friends and family release of the desktop app under Radworks Garden, and since then that has been very public. We finally found a more descriptive name than RSN for our managed product offering. We call it since then Radicle Garden. You will hear the term more and more often. We're pretty excited about it. Before I get into everything that we've done with regards to Radicle Desktop, I want to announce 2 team changes. Daniel Kalman, who's been with us for quite some time and contributed a lot to Radicle and the Radworks product team, has left us. We're really thankful for everything he's done and are really excited for what he will get to do next. At the same time, Tom Nash has joined our team and is taking on an important role in developing the Radicle Garden as a front-end developer, and he's helping with a lot more than that, of course. So yeah, we're excited to have a new person in the ecosystem, but now let's get to the juicy part, Radicle Desktop. So as I said before, we had launched it under the Radworks name. Since then, we've brought it a bit closer to the Radicle brand. And the important part, what we spent a lot of time on, was listening to the feedback we gained from launching this first version. So since then, we've done updates in the UI and heavily invested in the onboarding flow, so that people are literally able to start within minutes, even if they haven't read through all of the guides. You know, in a lot of places, the desktop application actually gives you context-sensitive information and helps you, from your familiar understanding, understand Radicle step by step. So the onboarding enhancements have been something that seemed to have worked out really well, as we saw in the user tests. We've added source browsing, one of the things we thought we wouldn't do, but the user tests have clearly shown that people are expecting that. Their mental model of a CodeForge made it really clear that we need a version of that. We've improved notifications. The context-aware guidance is something I just mentioned. We spend a lot of time working on the packaging, and I want to just show that for a second here. If you haven't seen the landing page for Radicle Desktop, we have packaged it up for multiple platforms, Mac, different versions of Linux, and we even have instructions for how to use it with Windows. So that's pretty exciting. And for some of those platforms that I just spoke about, we also bundled the Radicle tooling, which makes it easier to use your package manager to stay up to date. One of the former points of critique that we had. The desktop app in a lot of places supports now fuzzy search, and I think demos are welcome. So I'm going to spend like 1 minute just for anyone that hasn't seen Radicle Desktop. I just want to show you how it currently looks like. So this is Radicle Desktop. Here's basically your home directory. You can search desktop, for example, and this is what you will see. So you have a repository homepage. You have source browsing here. You have the issues and patches. Everything with the discussions and everything. Here's our CI runs. So it has become pretty powerful. Here you have notifications, and so we are really excited about this release. But please check it out on your own time if you haven't already. All right. So what we've done is brand-wise, we've integrated that into Radicle to bring it a bit closer to Radicle than Radworks. We are currently still trying to find the perfect spot for it, so this might be changed in the future, and in the future it might be closer to the next big thing that we're working on, which is Radicle Garden. I mentioned before, hopefully a thing that you will hear more often in the future. But what we've done in parallel to working on the desktop was we focused on product discovery and validating some of the individual features, like for example, CI, the hosting, public profiles individually without building out everything first. And the code we have already done in Q2, the core offering of the service, which is like we provide a Radicle node for you, we run it for you, we manage it for you. And so that was already done. And now we are building out the rest of the service to make it a cohesive product experience. So public launch, we saw a big spike because at the same time we had the community event, we talked about on social media. It seems to stabilize a bit higher than before, so we are happy to watch those numbers stabilize long term, and we hope to further see a similar increase in user numbers when we launch Radicle Garden. Yes, we are on track with the budget. No surprises there. But yeah, what is going to come next? I think this is also what I'm really excited about. We are really bringing together everyone in the team and focus on the upcoming launch of Radicle Garden. We have scoped this in 2 stages. An initial feature set that includes the managed node, the core offering of the service, private repositories, public profile, and CI access, as in we trigger events that you can consume with your worker nodes. The planned follow-ups shortly after our drive-by contributions. So currently web is read-only, but in some cases for some users, installing the tooling might not be desirable either because we are lacking multi-identities and they might be on different devices, or because they are just casual contributors and just want to create an issue. So that's going to be something exciting. And yeah, miscellaneous stuff like artifact hosting. So all of that is, I think, a really compelling product offering that we're excited to get out sooner than later. Thank you.
Has anybody got any questions for Johannes? All right, cool. Then we'll move to the foundation update. Sally, are you doing this one, or are we going back to LA?
I think it probably should go back to LA. You can't see me making your face, but LA, do you want me to do it?
Yeah, that's me. Let me share my screen. And yeah, yes, you can see me okay, I believe. Cool. All right. Okay. Cool. Okay, so yeah, first of all, why am I doing the foundation update? There have been a number of changes on the Better Internet Foundation. The most important is that after many years, Angie has decided to step back as of end of June 2025. Angie has been a major contributor to this ecosystem, so a lot of love and a big hug for her. Yeah, she decided that she wanted to step back, and with that in mind, I came back to the foundation. So I am currently the president of the foundation, again, like back in the day. And then additionally, Alexei Klauchet, he's rejoined the foundation as of July 2025, which is something that I'm very happy. Alex took a break for a few months to just clean up his head, and now he will be more active again. So that's the first big change. The second big change is that, as I believe we communicated previously, the Radicle protocol is now part of the Radicle Foundation. Again, why is that important? This is something that we always wanted to do. This, the Radicle peer-to-peer protocol is a neutral infrastructure. We want this to be connected with a non-profit. We want a non-profit to oversee its development, and this is something that is now taking place. And also, as development is happening on the Radicle Garden front, then there's a clear distinction between for-profit, a for-profit product effectively, and a non-profit protocol, neutral protocol. So that's probably the biggest update that's coming out of the foundation. As a Radicle Org now is basically part of the foundation. With regards to quarterly objectives, yeah, I don't want to bore people, but foundation is in good health. Being a non-profit in Switzerland means that we need to submit a number of reports to the authorities, and we're bound by the mission of the foundation, which is to support a non-extractive peer-to-peer technologies. So we had a number of initiatives around that. Another exercise that we're doing on a frequent basis on the foundation is to just monitor risk across the Radworks ecosystem. We still see our role as a defender of the Radworks ecosystem, an entity that can act in the real world, not in the digital world, and protect Radworks ecosystem interests. So we have a rhythm there where we're monitoring risks, and if something comes up, we act. Nothing significant has come up, in case you're wondering, but I think it's important that I'm calling this out. And then also the last thing that I believe that is important is that there's been a new development within our ecosystem that we call the Radworks application, for secure front end. So this is something that is being bootstrapped within the foundation for now, with a goal to become its own org with its own entity in a few months from now when it hits the market. So these are the most important updates, I believe. Yeah, so we remain within budget, well within budget, I would say. And then, yeah, so basically, yeah, rest of the updates I believe that I covered already. Yeah, this is it from the foundation. I'll keep it short and sweet. Any questions? Maybe I can add one last thing, which is with this transition, with Andy leaving and with myself and Alexi basically being back at the foundation, we're also taking a step back and, trying to reflect a little bit more on the role that the foundation is playing. So you should expect a number of changes. One of the things that we're looking to do, that I can already say up front, is that, we're looking to add more technical contributors to the foundation board. This is something that, we're thinking about expanding the foundation board and adding proven contributors within this ecosystem as part of that. So nothing, there won't be something immediate, but this is something that we're looking, how can we create a good team there, a resilient team there, and also, bring a lot more, technical competency in that level as well. So yeah, maybe that's the one thing that I forgot to say. Any more questions? No. All right. Cool.
Okay. Thank you, LA. Okay, now there's just a general free space for any questions, either to anything related Radworks ecosystem. But I think everybody's quite quiet today. So if everybody,
it's the summer.
Yeah,
it's the summer. I think everyone wants to enjoy being outside.
What this beautiful weather that we're having, yeah. It's for future people watching this back again on YouTube, it's absolutely chucking it down in Berlin. So in that case, then I guess we'll close it here. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for your updates. Where all the links have been dropped in the chat here. If you want to go and ask any other questions, then you know where to find us all, I think. So thanks a lot. And I think this might be a record. 37 minutes, not bad.